Now, I haven't been to the range in a while, as far as it goes with me shooting. When I give classes, I try not to do any shooting because the students try to make it a competition more so than paying attention to the safety rules. The rules of engagement. So I really don't get a chance to do a lot of shooting like I used to. Now these particular firearms haven't been used in a year and a half, and not all of them, only some of them. Oh my goodness. You guys remember a couple of years back, I redid this case. How have I got in here? Targets. A book. Okay. Alright, so anyway, this whole case used to be this kind of stuff. As you can see, it starts to just fall apart after a while. The bottom was also all that stuff, and it was kind of cut in little squares. This may be part of it. Yeah, if you can see that. This here way you can kind of block out the shape of the firearm in any which way you want to put it in there. So it was okay for the first year and a half, but it started to get flaky. Go into the pocket and be stable and ready. While she was doing that, I was cutting out the foam where I was just basically slicing it. And then this part, these are project boxes that are in here, the plastic project boxes. And what I did was I put a felt material inside. I cut them in half, and I put a felt material on the inside so that it wouldn't damage anything. And then I cut it out and I sunk those down in there so that now I can keep the magazines. So the magazines correspond with the gun. Boom, bada boom, boom, bada boom, boom, bada boom, and so on. The gun that goes here, which is the FNP 45 tactical, we don't want to call it tactical, but if you want to look it up, you'll know what it is. It has a threaded barrel on it. This is another FN. So we got 1, 2 so far. This is the FN S9 SEX. This is striker fire, so there's no hammer on it. However, there is a safety, which I like. You know, again, I just like safeties. You know, and then, oh, you gotta take, yeah, no. When you're pulling the weapon, if you practice, like anything else, depending on how you practice. When I move my weapon from the holster, the safety is going off at the same time. The travel from the holster to on point is the same amount of time, just that my thumb is doing something. But at that point, that's what I like. Okay, now this, what I'm doing is I'm going to check them in a minute. I just want to make sure that they're all okay. They shouldn't really need anything, but you never know if moisture gets into something. You know, that's why you have dehumidifiers in your safe and stuff like that. There's no dehumidifier in here. There is a couple packs up underneath the side that I take out occasionally, but again, I haven't been in this in over a year. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Here's another. I don't know what this one is. Okay, this is another FN. This is the 509. I actually had problems with this one. I was surprised. I think it was this one. No, it was this. It was the Beretta. That's what it was. This is the 509 FN. I had problems with this one. This is the Beretta that came out with the APX. This kept blowing extractors. Constantly. 3 times. Now, luckily, there was there still is, an authorized repair center for Beretta in Connecticut. So I didn't have to send it back. I drove there. Tom and I took a ride up there. It was about, I don't know, 40-minute ride. And at that point, I took it there. And I left it with him. I told him that it blew the extractor. And he says, huh, okay. So what he did at that point was, he called me up a week later and said it's done. I went back up there, picked it up, went right to the range with it down here in Branford, loaded it up. I don't put a target up when I'm checking the firearm. I just want to see how it handles. Then I put the target up after I throw 100 rounds through to just aim it at the backstop. But I threw a loaded mag in there. Before I even got done with it, there's a video on that. The extractor blew out again. I call him on the phone. He said, I just picked it up. Yeah, well, I'm at the range. Oh, okay, good. You know, I said, well, the extractor blew out again. Because you're kidding me. I don't know. So what do you use it for ammo? Well, I use white box Winchester, you know, I don't, or the Lawman, or, you know, so I don't use any reloads, I don't use any hot loads, you know, it's just factory ammo. And it was range ammo even. So at that point I brought the box of ammo with me as well as the firearm, same day, and dropped it off again. And, but that little trip, you know, it was 3 times the extractor blew up. They finally found that apparently there was a run that went out, one of the first runs, and they were having some problems with them. They thought they corrected it, but they didn't know how many of them got through before, or this or that. So after that, they fixed it. So far, I've got maybe 500 rounds, 1,000 rounds, I don't know, through it. However, I don't know just yet if I would trust it as a carry gun. And even though I don't, it's here. I can always use it for a practice, you know, with students. Or I may eventually start to carry it, but I have to get more rounds through it first. You know, and the only way to do that is get to the range. But, you know, like I say, I'm a little leery on it right now. You know, justifiably so. And the only reason why I bought this one was because the 92F, not the FS, not the S, yeah, the 92F, the old 35, 40, 45-year-old weapon, I couldn't even tell you that, is so damn dependable. I figured this has got to be okay. And this is a striker fire. But anyway, that's that one. That's still real tight. And then there's Old Faithful here, which I've carried this one quite a bit actually. This one here is the 6 Hour, the P226. I believe this one is the, well, it's got the stainless inside, but yeah, this is the P226. They have a couple different model numbers, but it's a 40 cal. This has got a DAC trigger on it. The reason why I went with this one is I was up at one of the largest gun shops in Connecticut, Hoffman's. Their prices aren't great, but they're not going to rip you off. You know you're getting a fair deal. If you're looking for a super deal, it's not the place to go. But if you're looking for a fair deal with most of the time knowledgeable people, and they usually have everything in stock, at that point, Hoffman's is more or less the place to go. That's where I go most of the time. But anyway, I went up there. Joey was with me when I bought this one. And, see, when you're with the Coast Guard, they carry the DAC trigger, and they carry the 226, also customs, because you don't want to have your finger accidentally on the trigger when you're on a boat. So they do all and the trigger pulls a little harder, but they do all these things to help maintain safety. You get the adrenaline is flowing. You're pulling a boat over that you may have been chasing for whoever, and just one of those things. So you don't have to worry about accidentally pulling the trigger on it if your finger's on it, because you gotta make the effort to pull the trigger on it. But I've carried this a long time as well. This is a nice piece. The new SIGs, I don't care for them. I don't like module guns. Now I know that's going to be the wave of the future, because you can change it out to a different color. I mean, it's easier for them to work on it, when you bring it back. But I don't really care for the module firearms right now. And then the other one that I took out earlier, that was a 22 target. I know we don't keep that one in there, but I had no place to put it. And seeing as I had room, where the hell's the name of it? I've been there before. I bought a shotgun. I was going to the Burlington County State Police Academy, New Jersey, for training, and I needed a shotgun, and I didn't have a shotgun at the time. This was back in '92, and so I needed a shotgun. New England Gun Exchange. So I went to there, up in New England, Gun Exchange. I bought a Mossberg, nice piece, 18-inch barrel. It was just a nice piece. And Mossberg is made right, well, I don't know if they're still there or not. They were made right here in North Haven, which I can drive there in about 15 minutes. And my son knows them as well. So anyway, I bought the Mossberg. Dave and myself, we were going to the academy together, so we went to the range to try out the shotgun. Before I even got the third round through it, it just jammed up with the round in it. And I said, I can't have this. I mean, what's the problem? Come on, this is a shotgun pump. What is the problem here? And it was locked up. To a point to where, okay, and it didn't fire. So we got a live round in there. So I called them on the phone and said, listen, this shotgun is acting up. And the transfer was already done. They said, bring it back. I go back up there, and they looked at it. And they're trying to free it up, and finally they said, well, we're going to have to take this down into the basement and work on it, blah, 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 blah. I said, listen, today's Friday. I'm going to be leaving because I got to be in New Jersey for Monday, and listen, you want another shotgun, we'll give you another one. However, we don't have any more Mossbergs. That was the last one. So it was a good place, So I says, yeah, okay, well, I says, Ithaca, you have an Ithaca. They had an Ithaca. Now, Ithaca is another shotgun that law enforcement used to use a lot. They kept them in their trunk before they started carrying AR-15s and stuff like that. But they used to keep them in the trunk. And I believe that was called the Deer Slayer. Okay, yeah, I'm losing it. Which I still have that. And that's the one I took with me. And the thing works like a charm. I thought, holy shit, what a nice piece. So I still have that today. And I also Duracoated that one because that one started to show wear. Naturally, I'm abusing it all the time. So I finally ended up Duracoating that one, which is also on film. I took the whole thing, broke it down, and redid that one. But that was a nice shotgun. Well, it still is a nice shotgun. But anyway, like I say, if these sit around, they tend to have a problem. I've got an AK that I purchased quite a few years ago. We cannot purchase anything like that here in Connecticut anymore. No more. If it looks like one, you can't purchase it. If it looks like what they consider a black gun, you know, assault weapon, you can't buy it here in Connecticut anymore. However, we were grandfathered to keep what we have. So I have this AK, and it was sitting for about 1.5 years in the safe. And at that point, I said, I was going to go to the New Haven Sportsman's Club, and Raymond wanted to go with me. He was also with the Coast Guard. He lived in Clinton. And I says, okay, let's go. So we go up there, and he brought his dad with him, and we're going up to the outdoor range. And I get up there, and I go to, and the sucker didn't want to move back. What the hell's wrong with this thing? I used it once. I cleaned it really good. You know, I oiled it. I'd never over-oil because you don't want to pick up a lot of grit. And it's just been sitting in the safe. Well, it took me about 15 or 20 minutes to finally get it back in action again. And that's when I said, nah, you know, I gotta use these firearms. So I pulled these out because I just want to check them real quick, which I'm not going to do on camera and drive you guys nuts with it. But I am going to check them. I am going to go through them.